we need to have a debate about the playoffs, because there's changes on the way, it seems, to the Championship playoffs. Ollie, I can see your face. You're fuming about this already. 8 teams being involved in the playoffs, like it is in the national team. So I go down to 8th, rather than 6th.
It's not for me. It's really just not for me. I mean, this season, bring it on. If you want to put it in for this summer, we might get there. Take it. That's fine.
Yeah, real coincidence. There's the Preston owner pushing for this as well. The team that are just sitting in 7th.
Can see where that comes from. But no, I think ultimately, for me, this is the question that I think we fundamentally have to ask about what this means for the Championship, what this means for maybe English football more broadly is, are we building leagues based on competition, quality, performance, or are we building them for entertainment? I think if you say football's an entertainment business and all we want is entertainment, fine. Make it a 24-man playoff and we'll have a great laugh watching the games as they play out. But if you're actually trying to reward competition, performance, the quality on show, which teams are actually doing best, think about last season. United finished 3rd on 92 points. Bristol City already in 6th were 30 points
The answer to your question is Millwall, 66.
Millwall on 66. So you're talking 26-point gap. Should that really need to be played through? We've done 46 games to decide which team's better. Why are you now putting us back on a level playing field, making us go again? I just feel as though what we're trying to do, and again, there's benefits to it. I understand why people will want entertainment. There is something about the playoffs that is the most fun version of football to watch. We all get bought in. As a neutral, there is no games of football I would want to sit and watch more than a good playoff, second leg. It's all tight. You don't know quite who's going to go through. It's amazing. But it's nothing to do with competition. It's just a way of manufacturing excitement for a TV audience rather than about sport being played for a competitive reason.
I completely agree with you. I also think you're almost losing a bit of integrity, not only getting 8th and 7th involved, and I don't think any of us have ever thought that 8th place should get a spot in the Premier League or a shot at it, but the games they're going to play against 5th and 6th will be one leg, which
away from home,
but that automatically leads to more chance of an upset where the better team might lose. Ben, do you have any other views on this?
Oh, I have lots of views. First of all, I think it's very cruel getting a Sheffield United and an Ipswich fan, 2 of the worst playoff teams in the history of the competition, to talk about this.
We've got the loser of the 2025 last season playoff final and the loser of the 2023 playoff final.
Oh, and Ipswich have lost every which way away goals. Ipswich even managed to lose when you played against the team that was in the top division. We lost to Charlton back in the day.
The opposite side of that, Ben, we managed to get relegated from a playoff, so it's really gone well for us here.
There you go. Look, I agree with where Ollie's coming from, but it's highly subjective of where you draw the line. Where's your razor between entertainment and integrity? Because why 6th? Why not 4th? Why not 8th? So that's completely...
Why not just promote the best 3 teams?
Subjective. Well...
yeah, that's a really good idea, actually, Ollie. I've just come to think of that. That's a really good idea. This season, let's do that.
In particular.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not suggesting that... I mean, these two things are different but linked. We have a big problem in English football with the chasm in finances between the top 2 divisions. Yeah. And not that you should be adding 2 extra teams, because that's causing correlation all mixed up, isn't it? But... it would help slightly give more opportunities.
It absolutely does, and I think it will help to maybe bridge some of that financial chasm. You can have a team, let's say, for example, Millwall last year, they'd gone through, they'd won the playoffs. Financially, that puts them on a level playing field with some of those teams who are always finishing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, generally the parachutes that come in. But the other side of it is, I've experienced what it's like when you're not good enough to play in the Premier League and you get battered week in, week out. And for all the joy and the glory of finishing 8th and getting promoted might bring you, that Premier League season would kill so much of your enjoyment of football.
Bank the money, take the parachute payments, and as Stuart Webber, the former Norwich sporting director, said, for certain clubs, maybe mine and yours, and Chris Wilder said it the other day, top 25. Yeah. That kind of terminology. If you can't be a Premier League team, be a parachute team. But it's going to happen. They need a majority. The majority of teams don't finish in the playoffs, and they want to finish in the playoffs. Why on earth would they not vote this through, Simon?
Well, It's going to happen. I completely agree with you. I 100% think it will happen, but it just feels like it's moving away from what the fans want to what the clubs want, because they want more of a shot.
A final positive we might get out of this. I know at the moment it's being talked about for the Championship rather than expansion through the EFL at the moment, but I think one positive that will be a knock-on effect is as this expands through the EFL, we'll finally get the third promotion spot from the National League, which I do think when you look at the overall picture of English football, there is a really...
Can we get rid of the 21st place relegated in League One as well? That
just
grinds my gears, honestly.
Yeah, it needs to just be 3 up, 3 down throughout
everywhere.
The football pyramid. I think the other positive, if I could look at this in a different way, is that we've seen the gap between 5th and 6th not really matter too much, because obviously it's a home game second. This will make a game, say this season, Hull and Millwall going into the final day level on points 4th and 5th. If you finish 4th, straight through to a playoff semi-final. If you finish 5th, you've got an extra game at home and then you're away. So it almost adds another layer of importance to that bit.
Simon, if I can argue against the people that suggest it might disadvantage 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th don't win the playoffs anymore. It's, I remember the wild 90s where you used to get a few 6th place winners. I forget the exact year. I think Palace might have been the last. Look, we had Villa in 2018-19, and don't tell me Villa were an underdog finishing 5th with Grealish, Mings, Tuanzebe and Tammy Abraham in their team. Generally, the playoffs work in respects of you give 5th and 6th a chance. I know 3rd place have not... Yeah. We were both there, weren't we? I know 3rd place have not won the last couple of years, but generally 3rd and 4th do get there, Simon. And
so why wouldn't you just do a 3rd versus 4th final? Only 2 legs. Is that taking away too much?
We're back to and I suppose there is the dead rubbers at the end of the season conversation, but I tend to sit there on round 46 and there always seems to be about 3 teams that can still get in the playoffs, so I'm not necessarily sure about that. It's subjective, and having been observing it for 30 years or whatever it is in the current format, I'm a little bit resistant to change, but it might not be a bad thing. You never know.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. It looks like...
No, I've not convinced you there at all.
Well, if Coventry get promoted, finishing 8th, I'll be the first one celebrating.
Well, and Simon, what a story that is going to be, by the way. Yeah. Who's the first who finishes 8th? Because they're probably going to have to beat 3rd at some point.
I can tell you exactly who's going to be the first team who finished 3rd and lose to 8th.
Right.